Forgive me for a second. We picked the fight with Iran. 47 years ago, we had no. 47 years ago, we had no fight with Iran. They took hundreds of our people hostage at the embassy. Then they killed 237 U.S. Marines. Then they killed 1,000 U.S. troops in Iraq. And you're saying we picked the fight?
There was no imminent threat to the United States. We started this war with Iran. And so we made this decision. We're here now.
In this exchange, something remarkable happens. A Democratic congressman argues that the United States initiated the current conflict with Iran, but within seconds, the host fires back with decades of historical context, challenging that claim directly. What follows is not just a political disagreement. It is a deeper clash over history, strategy, and the economic consequences of a growing war in the Middle East.
13 days into this war, and we're already bringing back the disco-era panic. Cue the firing squads.
You said the numbers. They're all trending down. That brings a very real worry that we might be headed towards stagflation.
Gasoline prices have exerted the most immediate impact felt by consumers.
You don't have an economy without energy, and it's the same for every country. And so this is a global concern.
We've been saying for months that Trump needed a message on affordability, and now he has one. High prices are good.
Dan Pfeiffer, hard to find anybody smugger in the world than that. With us now, Democratic Virginia Congressman Suhassu Ramanyam. Good to see you, sir. Thank you. I'm just thinking, I've never understood or seen a time when hyperventilating works.
I think people are worried. They're worried about this war. They're worried about how long the war will last. And they have real concerns already with how prices are high and with oil being affected and going up significantly, how long that'll stay up. And so I think that's why people are concerned.
Yeah, I think there's people who are concerned. I think there's certainly a large group of people trying to fuel that concern. That's fair. That's what politics is. People, though, and I think Democrats are not considering the other alternative. Or the two other alternatives. One was the alternative doing nothing, which meant that Iran would be getting stronger and be able to blackmail us even more. But number two, if this works out, which 2 weeks in, it's probably going better than anyone expected it would go. Here's Larry Fink talking about what would come with oil prices should Trump win.
Do I believe the war is going to be lasting a long time? No. Do I believe oil is going to be reverting back to where it was? Maybe even lower. I mean, there's probably a great probability that oil is going to be below 50.
Aren't Democrats going to look pretty silly to voters when you've been telling everybody we're going to go broke and then all of a sudden oil's at 50?
I hope he's right. I hope this all works out, and I hope that in the end, oil prices go down. But the reality is we have picked a fight with Iran. Iran is very resilient.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Forgive me.
At this point, the debate shifts from economics to accountability, and the host immediately pushes back on the idea that the conflict began with the United States.
Forgive me for a second. We picked the fight with Iran. 47 years ago, we had no. 47 years ago, we had no fight with Iran. They took hundreds of our people hostage at the embassy. Then they killed 237 U.S. Marines. Then they killed 1,000 U.S. troops in Iraq. And you're saying we picked the fight?
There was no imminent threat to the United States. We started this war with Iran. And so we made this decision. We're here now. We should have expected the Strait of Hormuz would need to be secured, and it's not. And so Iran is continuing to assert its security over that part. We haven't even seen the Houthis could take control over the Red Sea, and then that's going to mean issues there, and so that's going to raise prices too. And so there's a big issue here with this war dragging on for a long time. If you think Iran's going to just accept a unilateral withdrawal whenever Trump wants and let him declare victory, that's not going to happen. They're going to continue to make life hard for us. So I don't see how a ceasefire is reached in the next couple of weeks, even if Trump wants to withdraw. They're going to continue this pressure on us, and they're going to show that the message they're going to send is that you can't mess with us anymore, and that we're going to just rebuild our ballistic missiles and everything else.
They're going to try to send that. I'm sure that's a concern. I think it's the wrong concern, having lived there for 4 years and studied this. I think the Iranians are going to right now realize that escalate to de-escalate doesn't work with someone who has a much bigger military than they do. But you bring up a good point. I think it's really an important one, that we are at war with Iran right now. And clearly the Iranians are trying to do everything they can to cause us pain and kill Americans. There's indications they've ordered sleeper cell attacks. There's been 4 Islamic terror attacks in 2 weeks, and Democrats have shut down DHS and won't pay TSA because they don't like ICE.
But the argument does not stop at foreign policy. Within moments, the conversation expands into domestic politics and national security funding.
Wearing masks. Is that a good play?
We want to pay TSA. We actually put a bill forward to pay.
No, you don't.
TSA
You want DHS shut down. You want DHS shut down.
No, we put forward a measure to actually fund DHS, and all we said is we want ICE tactics to change. And the Republicans voted that down. They voted it down in the Senate and the House.
You cannot sit here and tell me that Democrats who bragged that they were shutting down DHS and defunding DHS now want it funded. Come on.
Oh, we're not bragging. We want DHS, we want TSA, we want FEMA, all these agencies. I have employees of these folks in my district. I want nothing more than for them to be able to get paid.
If you want nothing more, then why not put through a clean bill to reopen DHS and pay everybody?
We have made very clear what we want out of this DHS funding.
Right, you're holding your own constituents. You're holding your own constituents. Hold on, let me just ask a question. You're holding your own constituents hostage.
Oh, no, that's not true. I mean, the reality is...
You just told me it was.
No, the reality is what we want is very clear, and even Republicans, some Republicans want it, but their leadership won't let us
You got Dulles Airport.
DHS.
You got Dulles Airport in spring break travelers. People are going to be waiting in 3 and 4 hour lines. It's worth it because you don't like ICE wearing masks?
No, I want them funded. That's very clear, and I made it very clear.
No, you
I've also said that on shutdowns, we should be paying federal workers. We shouldn't be making federal workers pawns in this. But going back to the original point, the economy is going to continue to hurt as long as we're in this war, and that's why people are bringing up stagflation.
Yeah, well, they need to go back to their economic textbooks, but that's fine. Congressman Suhas Subramaniam, have a great weekend. It's always fun to see you on a Friday night.
What makes this exchange so revealing is how quickly the conversation moves across multiple layers of the same issue. It begins with a simple claim about responsibility for the conflict with Iran, but within minutes it expands into a debate about energy prices, economic stability, military strategy, and even domestic security funding. Notice the fundamental disagreement at the center of the discussion. The host frames the situation as a long-running conflict in which Iran has repeatedly targeted American interests for decades. From that perspective, the current war is not a sudden escalation, but part of a larger historical pattern. In that view, confronting Iran directly is presented as a strategic move designed to deter further aggression and potentially stabilize energy markets in the long run. The congressman approaches the issue from a very different angle. His argument focuses on the immediate decision to initiate the current war and the economic consequences that may follow. Rising fuel prices, instability around the Strait of Hormuz, and the possibility of prolonged regional escalation all play into his warning that the conflict could have lasting effects on the global economy. From that perspective, even if the conflict eventually de-escalates, the risks during the process could be significant. Another interesting moment occurs when the conversation shifts to domestic politics. What began as a foreign policy debate quickly turns into an argument over funding for the Department of Homeland Security and the TSA. This illustrates something common in modern political media. Discussions rarely stay confined to one issue. Instead, they branch outward, connecting international conflicts to internal political disputes and policy disagreements. Ultimately, this exchange highlights 2 competing narratives about the same war. One narrative suggests decisive military action can force adversaries to step back and potentially strengthen economic stability. The other warns that wars rarely follow predictable timelines and can easily spiral into broader economic and geopolitical consequences. The question, as always, is which interpretation proves closer to reality? And now I want to hear from you. Do you think the congressman successfully challenged the justification for the war? Or did the host make the stronger case by pointing to the broader historical context of U.S. Iran tensions? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next analysis.